89.7 WTBR FM, Pittsfield.
Welcome to Ham on WTBR, the all-inclusive ham radio show for hams and non-hams alike. Be part of the show. Contact us on www.facebook.com/HamJamTV. And now the hosts of the show, Peter and Jessica. Ham on.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning from Berkshire County, Pittsfield, Massachusetts on this Wednesday morning. It is Ham
It's
on.
rainy Wednesday morning.
On WTBR FM.
Oh, yeah.
Topic is Women in Amateur Radio Part 2. Deuce. We had Darlene on KD2KOW. We had Marsha Ford on KW1U.
So it would be part 3, not part 2.
Yeah, and over in the pit over here is Suzy Colpits, who will be on here right after our break, who drove in here from, I don't know where, from Housatonic. Was stuck in traffic and got here 4 minutes before air. So she's really good. So we'll be back to her in a few minutes. Let's go to Jesse with some news.
The Sydney Herald reported that on January 5th, 1924, a spark station in the U.S. was received in New Zealand. That's kind of crazy for that time period. I mean, they were just getting into ham radio. They were just learning ham radio. And to hit New Zealand at that time, that's some crazy stuff right there. Mm-hmm. That's one heck of a skip right there. I'll give you that, man. English. Mr. J.S. McDonald of Walworth South claims a world record in reception of wireless. Somebody went ahead and outdid that record. On Saturday night, using a detector and one-step low-frequency amplifier, he logged 62 different American amateur stations for his New Zealand station. That's some crazy stuff. That's one heck of a skip.
That's one heck of a skip.
That's
You're right.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yes, Susie's going to throw her singers in before she comes on for the interview, so we'll just turn on her mic and let her have some fun.
All right.
And the other remarkable fact about this is that it was operating on a spark, and it was operating by a spark, whatever a spark is.
It was. We'll have to do a show on that, but spark gap transmitters are one of the very, very first transmitters that started all this. That's what literally a transmitter that would make a spark, and that spark would make audio, and they would be able to send CW around the world. That's how all this started way back 19 something or other.
1924. I just read it.
No, before 1924.
Have you been listening?
This is the first time a spark station was actually heard and documented in this time period, which is crazy, hence why it's a world record. And I hit the microphone. Oh boy.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
Three stations.
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
3 stations were operating by phone, and also music was being heard. And human voice was slightly obscured by statics. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Come on, people. It's not exactly crystal clear. You will get some static in there.
Get some static now. Have you checked the propagation reports?
Yeah, seriously. 62 calls were heard between 7 a.m. and midnight. And also another remarkable fact, I don't know why this is a remarkable fact, hopefully the hams will tell me, I'm not a ham here, is that some of the stations were heard in bright sunlight.
Okay.
I'm guessing the fact that because it was sunny, it was a little bit harder to hear.
You know how okay, let's stop for a second. Okay. Now let's go back.
Yeah, help out the non-ham
here.
Let's
Let's go back to FRN, shall we? At 2:45 p.m. on 3948. the propagation of FRN on 3948 at 245 is nothing. You can't hear nothing.
So
Marcia, who's
technically he wasn't supposed to hear nothing.
right. So you go to 415, you see the propagation. 415, okay, 245. I can't hear John K1UAF. I can't hear N1LAH. The only ones I hear is WX1T, Tom, and K1EIC. Let's go to 415. After the sun kind of moves, we hear everybody. The propagation comes up, especially on 80 meters. So during daylight, unless it's 20 meters,
Yeah.
you're not so well anywhere else.
So pretty much you shouldn't be able to hear. You shouldn't have been able to hear buffalo bagels.
Especially on a spark gap.
Oh wow.
In this day and age.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That I learn something new every day. Hey. That's why we do the show.
Right.
New non-ham here, learning about ham radio
When you
stuff.
compare 1,500 watts that we have total compared to the 2 or 3 watts that Spark Gap puts out, maybe 20 watts, do the math.
So it's barely lucky it's making any. Barely lucky it's making.
But
anything.
but the other side of that is propagation is pinpoint.
Oh.
Okay, where
so they had to aim
where
it.
me and Suzy could be talking on HF and she ain't hearing me. I could be talking to California KA6LMS, last man standing stage, and they're hearing me just fine. So it's pinpoint.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm sorry. Like I said, non-ham here.
That's why we do the show, to teach the non-hams how to do all this stuff besides sit in here and have fun.
Well, this is an education for me too. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of new information.
Ham radio, for the ham radio operators, is always an education.
Always an education. I think you would never stop learning.
You never stop
never.
learning. I mean, outside of doing this, I had to learn all this stuff. But
Right.
every day you learn something. As we plan the show every week, we're always checking news and we're checking all these other sites and finding all this new stuff. And you'll see some of it today. Every week we add stuff that people come to me and go, I never knew that before, and I've been a ham 50 years.
Wow.
Today will be one
There
of those
it
days.
is. Exactly.
Just like he also learned in for news for another show that they were actually able to detect RF noise through earthquakes.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the show. You can catch it on my YouTube channel. But this guy, where was he? In Canada or something. He built this RF or HF seismograph, and somehow he figured out that during earthquakes, it would interfere with the propagation on 80 meters. There would be noise on the propagation of 80 meters. And he came close to what the USGS officially put out. Like the story goes about the earthquakes they had in California.
Okay.
These
A couple of months ago, the 6.9. That
Right.
He did it during that, and before the quake hit, the noise on 80 meters went up in Southern California.
Oh, wow.
And then after the quake hit, the noise would stay for a little bit, and then the noise goes down. He's been doing this for 20 years. He's about 50-50 predicting them.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was going to say that's probably not the most effective predictive tool, but it's...
This one actually came close to what the USGS said. He was within maybe 15 miles
Wow.
of what the USGS said where it was. So it kind of works. It's not a good predictor. It's not nothing we can send to Caltech and say, hey, use this. But he's been doing it for 20 years.
It gives them some sort of tool.
Yeah, it gives them some sort of, any kind of tool, especially since I lived through...
And it also puts ham radio on the map there.
Right, especially since I lived through the
that.
Northridge earthquake. And back in the Northridge earthquake, there was no warning.
Oh, no.
Well, there was, because the Landers Big Bear earthquake was the precursor, which was a week to the day
Yeah,
of Northridge. Northridge was 6.9, which was really 7.1, in case you really wanted to know. And
when was this, Peter? Northridge
92.
And you were out in California?
Yeah, but I was out in California from 87 to 94.
Oh, dude.
So I was out there. Not that this is
Surfing, hanging 10.
Not that this is ham radio related, but
Yeah,
I was out
that's
there
all right.
for the San Francisco earthquake at the World Series at Candlestick Park.
So nice.
It's out there for the Landers Big Bear quake, the Northridge earthquake, the Rodney King riots.
Which you were
wow.
lucky you weren't in your apartment building when the Northridge.
I was in Northridge Meadows Acres Apartments. And if you go back to all the CNN footage, that was the apartment building that pancaked upon itself.
I remember that.
At the Northridge earthquake. I was on a Hollywood soundstage filming Freaked with... I
didn't know this about you, Peter.
Randy.
See, I'm learning.
You don't talk to me that much. If you talk to me a messenger this much, you find
that's right.
But I was filming Freaked.
I need to get my antennas up, obviously.
With Randy Quaid, Mr. T,
Wow.
Brooke Shields,
All the bigs.
and the guy Alex Winter from Bill and Ted. So we were on the
Oh, wow. I
soundstage
remember him.
doing that
He was the
when
director.
the Northridge
cool.
quake hit, because the producers pulled us in and Alex pulled me in and said, "Look at CNN," and everything's all over CNN. So that's
the
where we
brown.
go with that.
Yes, the brown car that got
The brown car you see with CNN. If you go back to
That was his
YouTube
car.
and you watch the footage, of the
I'm gonna go
1992
back, actually.
The 1992
gonna look
Northridge
for your car.
earthquake. You'll see a house on top of a brown car.
Oh, no.
That car was mine.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, go
Yeah.
finish up your news story, because we're almost time to go to break.
Yeah.
I finished up my news story. Your news story. We
Okay.
got carried away here.
We got
Hey.
anyway,
yeah.
This is what we did. We're
More
good.
news.
More news. We got
Yeah.
more news. Here's something
Jump
that
in
you
there.
probably don't know, and a lot of hams
It's likely that I
probably
don't.
know. But y'all remember? Well, you won't know this, but the radioactive 1912.
Yeah, I
which
don't know
all-
this.
Which is all what this is all about. Which why we are amateurs and we're licensed. Although the passage of the radioactive 1912, the U.S. government entered the regulatory realm of radio. Although this medium is clearly covered by the speech protection of the First Amendment, both the nature of this technology and its widespread availability to people who cannot read have continued to raise unique First Amendment issues that were reflected in this early legislation. The 1912 law was preceded by the Wireless Ship Act of 1910. But the key flaw was that it did not allocate radio frequencies. So in a nutshell for this is, first you didn't have to be licensed. You built a transmitter, you got on the air.
Oh, wow.
That's all there was to it. No licensing, you have to go to this part of 80 meters or this part of 40 meters. You got licensed, or you didn't even need license. You just built a transmitter, get on the air. Problem with that was, if anybody remembers what happened on April 15th, 1912.
Can I look it up, Peter?
No.
I mean, I wasn't around back then. I don't remember per
April
se.
15th, 1912 was the sinking of the Titanic
Oh.
off the coast of
God,
Greenland.
I should know that.
They
Yeah.
sent out their distress call over the radio frequencies. Nobody heard it, and nobody
Nope.
relayed it because everybody was jamming the radio frequencies.
Yeah, they
Wow.
heard it.
So
I think they heard it like an hour later.
they didn't. Well, yeah. Some sister ship heard it, but the idea was that when they transmitted it, nobody heard it because the radio frequencies were all jumbled up with just
Oh,
this
my
guy on the air,
goodness.
this guy on the air, this guy on the air, this guy on the air. So what the 1912 Act did said, number one, we're going to coordinate the radio frequencies. So first off, the ships on the high seas get priority over the frequencies, hence that 14.333.
And this was in direct response to the sinking of the Titanic?
This was because of the sinking of the Titanic.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So interesting.
Yeah, we had it killed more than 1,500 of the 2,200 people aboard. For Congress, this disaster was an example of what could happen when technology developed faster than regulation. The emergency signal broadcast by wireless operators on board the ship was received by a Marconi telegraph station in Newfoundland. But as the news broke, amateur radio operators up and down the U.S. East Coast filled the airwaves with radio noise that prevented the distress signal from being relayed properly. This
Right, that's no good.
Government takes control of the broadcast spectrum, begins the regulation in the 1812 Act. The government, for the first time, seized control of the broadcast spectrum and assumed responsibility for its allocation among various users and uses. The Act provided for the licensing of radio operators, a separate frequency for distress calls, absolute priority for distress calls, and 24-hour radio service for ships at sea. The Act also required all amateur radio broadcasts to be licensed, and it prohibited them from broadcasting over the main commercial and military wavelengths. That's why we have...
Great idea.
That's why the ham bands are allocated, and then like you go 5 megahertz, that's Mars. 4 megahertz is Mars. Then you go back to 3 megahertz, that's back to us, 80 meters. But there's some, what is it, 60 meters where it's channelized. And the military has priority over those 5 channels. So when you do a Mars exercise,
you've done a couple of Mars
I
exercises.
used to be in Mars till he wanted me to NCS like 500 times a day. I do enough of that as it is.
Yeah.
But
You're like, you're busy. I'm busy.
Well, no, because sort of. Other than FRN and main potato net and Cycle 1, Cycle 2 of the Western Mass Traffic Net, and God knows else what I do.
Yeah.
Too much here, and then this on top of it. But yeah, that's why you can't jump on the military frequencies. The military frequencies can come over to us, but you can't jump on them.
Oh, that's why you have to be regulated by them in order
Well,
to do it?
Mars. If you, I'll do this real quick because we gotta get into commercial. But if you go into Mars, you're part of the military. You work through the DoD.
Okay, all right,
It's like being in the military, and then you're authorized to go transmit on these frequencies, 4 megahertz, 5 megahertz.
See, this is why we do the show. So that way you can explain the stuff to the non-hams.
And to the new hams, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, this is fascinating.
Then you have to have
This is the stuff that I just eat up.
You have to have your radio modified for the Mars mod, which means it gives you the entire spectrum.
Oh, wow.
Which means you get 27 megahertz. You get, the CB bands, you get 4 or 5 places where your manufactured radio can't go. With the Mars mod, you can go because you don't know if you have to go there.
So who does the mod? I mean, is that something that?
Well, if you get into Mars, like say the companies, ICOM, Yaesu.
Yeah.
And you show them your little you take a copy because you get a little license.
Sure.
Mars.
Show them your license and they'll
show
hook
them
you
a
up.
copy of that, and you send the radio in. They'll mod it for you.
Wow.
There's some people that know how to do that outside.
Sure.
That can do that.
Sure.
And
would one be allowed to do that themselves if
you know how to do it?
If you know how to do it, then there's no problem with that.
If you know
That's what I love about
if you know how to do the mod,
Exactly.
if you know how to do the mod, you can do the mod.
So much freedom, yeah.
But with that, because you have to be able to go up on the military frequencies, because we talk a lot between military bases,
right,
and actual FOBs in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that.
Incredible.
And that's what the Mars exercises are for. If you ever get in and listen to a Mars exercise somewhere on 5 megahertz, when they do them, they'll announce them and you can hear it. Sometimes they'll be out there talking to the FOBs out in Afghanistan.
Oh, nice.
So we will be back.
This is Ham On and WTBR.
89.7 WTBR FM.
This is a new
Pittsfield.
Impressive.
fairly.
Most impressive.
This is such a great space.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Today, cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. A chance of showers this morning, then showers likely this afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s. Temperature falling to around 60 this afternoon. Northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 60%. Tonight, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Much cooler. Less humid with lows around 40. North wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, becoming northeast after midnight. Thursday, mostly cloudy. Rain likely in the afternoon. Much cooler with highs in the lower 50s. East wind around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 60%. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
Support for WTBR comes from Canyon Ranch, encouraging innovation, integrity, empowerment, wellness, and excellence in the workplace. See all of Canyon Ranch's available job opportunities online at canyonranch.com/careers. Again, that's canyonranch.com/careers.
Now that we're back, have you added us to a car?
In the early hours after the tsunami, it was ham radio that was on the air, saving lives. When Florida was ripped by hurricanes, the hams were there. In the critical moments after the attack of 9/11, it was the hams who coordinated emergency messages. When disasters strike, the hams are ready. Ham radio works when other communications don't. To learn how you can become a ham radio operator, call the ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, at 1-800-326-3942.
This is the sound of a bully at school.
Where'd you get the shirt? Colorblind and things?
And this is the sound of a kid telling her parents about the bully. If you don't hear about it from your kid, that doesn't mean it's not happening.
McGruff the crime dog here about how parents can tell if bullying is upsetting their children. Kids may avoid school. Grades may suffer. Stop bullies with words to your kids, school officials, or other concerned parents, and at McGruff.org.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Berkshire weather. There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom, and I think I hit the wrong button.
Love Marvin.
All right, before we go,
we can all imagine what that would be like.
Before we go to our guest, who's actually been here and on the air for most of the first part of the show.
I just jump right in, Peter.
Here's some ham trivia, and if anybody that's listening wants to answer this ham trivia, we'll give the answer at the end of the show. But www.facebook.com/hamjamtv.
Nice.
This guy is a ham radio, but what is Bob Heil, K9EID, best known for? Did he invent the portable transistor radio? The first ham to operate from Mount Everest, developed police speed detection radar, or pioneered live in-concert sound for various rock and roll groups? So that's who is Bob Heil. If you don't know about Bob, if you don't know about Bob Heil, he actually builds all the microphones for broadcast use and amateur radio use.
Oh, wow.
And he goes to a lot of the ham fests. He goes so. No, you can't. If nobody answers, we'll let you guys try to answer it later.
Okay.
Right now, let the listeners try to answer this.
So will they be calling in or?
Oh no, they'll give me on my Facebook page.
Oh, cool. Okay.
No calls in yet.
Yeah.
Ham Jam TV.
Ham Jam
on
TV.
Facebook.
On Facebook.
Instant message.
Sure.
And if we don't have no one answers, we'll let you guys answer.
All right. Cool.
So
I'll think about it.
Right,
I have my own ideas.
Same here.
So we'll see.
This week in history, and then we'll talk to Suzy.
Yeah.
This week in history. Blah, 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 blah. This day in history, in 1935, Mussolini's Italian troops invaded Abyssinia. In the beginning of the occupation, lasting until 1941. We had to start off with a bad one. Thurgood Marshall, 1908, 1993. Oh my goodness. Wow. Was sworn in as the first African American Associate Justice in the U.S. Supreme Court. He served until 1991 and was known for opposing discrimination,
All good things.
Oh, good
to
things.
Oppose.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And the death penalty and champion freedom of speech and civil liberties. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. They're good, Marshall.
California's Redwood National Park, 1968, was established. Redwood trees are the tallest of all trees, growing at 400 feet or 120 meters for those that go ahead and do the metric system. During a lifetime span, which can span over 2,000 years. So that is one very old tree.
Yes, it is.
I knew you when you were a sapling.
That's my great-grandpa right there.
Oh, yeah. Japanese Emperor Hiroshito went ahead and made his first ever visit to the White House on this day in 1975. Wow. Let me see. U.S. statesman Cordell Hull was born in Pickett Country, Tennessee. He served in both Congress, was Secretary of State, and was instrumental in the establishment of the United Nations. Thank you, sir, for your stuff. And that's what I got for today in history. Back to you, Dad.
Back to me.
Back to you.
Back to me.
Back
Thank
to you, Dad.
Back to Dad.
Well, he is my
we
dad.
have in studio.
Back to you, Peter.
Yeah, we have
my dad.
Mr. Mattis.
we have in studio, in case you haven't been listening, this is Ham On, by the way, on WTBR FM.
Yes, Ham On.
And we are doing Women in Amateur Radio Part 3, apparently. And we have in studio, she can introduce herself, give her call sign out, and tell us a little bit about herself.
This is KC1LIW. My name is Suzy Colpits. I'm currently living in Housatonic, Mass. I'm a pretty new ham. I got my general class license in, I think it was May. So just a few months ago, really. I've got my radios, but I don't quite have my antennas set up, but...
She still has that fresh ham smell.
I do. I still smell like fresh ham.
So if anybody out there wants to have an antenna raising party, Suzy can be found on Facebook.
Yeah, seriously. I would appreciate any and all help in that regard. Anyway, that's me. I'm also involved in community radio and have been since high school. So this whole scene is very familiar to me as well. Yeah.
Really, community radio, and that's what we're on, WTBR FM.
That's right.
So let's talk here.
Okay.
What got you interested in this wonderful 100-year-old Spark Gap hobby?
I know, really.
That we call amateur radio.
A very good friend of mine in Torrington, Connecticut. His father was a ham, and so my friend Peter told me about what his dad was up to, and for whatever reason, I was completely drawn to the art and science of amateur radio. And so it took me a while to, get my act together and study for the test and go through the process of getting licensed. It was probably about, 8 years from the time that I heard about ham radio until the time when I actually walked away with my license. So it was a good long time. But for whatever reason, I've always been drawn to the idea of communicating with folks over long distances using antennas.
I mean, for the first time somebody listening to it, they're like, wow.
I know you
crazy.
went for your general at the Nobark VE session.
I did go for my general at the Nobark VE session, and I didn't make it that time. But it took me a couple more weeks of studying, and I got my general in Litchfield.
Cool. So any chance of sliding up to the extra with all the radio theory
You know,
and the Smith chart.
I mean, absolutely. That's a goal of mine. I do need to get on the air first, I think, and get my feet a little wetter than they have been.
You've had your license since May.
Yeah.
And you haven't gotten on the air.
Well, I've been on Echolink through my phone, and I've also done a little work on my handhelds, but yeah, no. Other than that, I mean, I just don't have the equipment set up properly.
Have you hit any of the repeaters?
I mean, through Echolink for sure.
Well,
but
I know. I mean, on your HTs.
No. I think it's probably because of my location where I am in Housatonic.
Location.
Yeah.
You can build a J pole, like I have over at my house because I for the 9-1. But I built a little J pole. It's just strung up in my living room.
Nice.
And you can find the plans for that. It's like just a piece of coax or a piece of ladder line.
Sure.
Which I probably have at the house.
Sure. And yeah.
You could just give me on how to hook that up. It takes you maybe 10 minutes to make it. Hook a piece of coax up to it, connect it to your radios, and you're good to go.
Sweet. This is why I'm talking to you. And really, I learn best in collaboration. And so, part of why I think my ham project is stalled, at least at home, is that there really isn't anyone around me that is into the same thing. So, that's a project that I'm going to be coming into probably in the fall as things calm down in my life.
So,
have more time.
Do you have any plans like NTS or public service?
Well,
getting out into the community besides being here on community radios
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that I'd like to explore the idea of being a safe harbor for women who are experiencing something like domestic violence, something like that, and being part of a network to connect them to assistance. And so that's one focus of mine. The other one would be certainly emergency service.
Have you talked to? Do you know who your emergency coordinator is to get you into Aries?
I think so. Is that Wayne?
Probably what you could do, and I'll give them a plug.
Okay.
Is W1TTT.
W1TTT.
Dave Foley.
Okay.
Is the DEC for Berkshire County.
Okay.
If you drop him an email at w1ttt@yahoo.com.
So easy.
Yeah. He can probably, because I don't know, you're not in Berkshire County, right? But
no, I'm in Berkshire County.
Then talk
Southern Berk.
Okay, then talk to Dave. W1TTT.
W1TTT.
And he'll get you hooked up in Aries, because we need a lot of people for Aries. I'm actually the AEC. For Central, I got a lot of hats.
Yeah.
AEC for Berkshire County.
You really do.
Well,
you're a good man to be connected to.
Let's put it out there for those who don't realize. I'm net manager for Cycle 1 of the ARRL, Western Massachusetts Traffic Net.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm the assistant section traffic manager for Western Massachusetts.
That's number 2.
I'm AEC for Central Berkshire County.
That's 3 if you're keeping score.
That's 3 if you're keeping score. I'm an accredited VE.
She's counting on her fingers.
I'm an accredited VE.
Yep.
So I can give out tests.
That's 4.
Nice.
I'm an official relay station.
5.
And then I do this.
So 6.
So 6. But yeah, and I'm all over the place. Any aspects toward that? I mean, public service wise, joining in on NTS, and I don't know, taking some traffic, because we really need traffic handlers.
Yeah, I'm absolutely interested in all of that, and I'm looking to see I'm looking to see what opportunities become available as I get my feet wet in this whole art and science, actually.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I'm very, very drawn to that aspect of it, of course. And all of my gear at home, I have battery backups for it. And so I think I'm pretty well set up for operating if the grid goes down. I mean, and that's another really fascinating part of ham radio communications to me is
When all
being
else,
available in an emergency.
What she brought up is what we do all the time. We keep pushing over on this show that when, okay, fine, you have Skype, you have the internet, you have Facebook Messenger,
Sure.
you have...
What happens when that goes black?
We have all
Exactly.
that. But when that goes down, when the internet goes goodbye...
Right.
And the cell towers go down, your phones are useless, the repeaters are on batteries, they're not going far, and like, God forbid something like it happens like 911. People sitting at home in their house, all of a sudden the TV's gone, the cell towers are gone, they're overwhelmed with what's left of them, and nobody could get communications anywhere. Because all the cell towers were on top of the World Trade Center, and we all know what happened with that. It was us hams who actually went into Ground Zero, put up a temporary repeater to get communications flowing through Manhattan when all else failed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kay.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And
being available like that for the community in a disaster situation is a very interesting service to me.
And with Hurricane Maria, we had the force of 50 who went to Puerto Rico and got health and welfare messages out of the islands back to the mainland for 2
awesome,
weeks.
Peter. That's awesome. Good for you.
So hopefully you'll get involved in that. But outside of amateur radio, since we're kind of segueing, any hobbies or interests outside the amateur radio realm, whatever it's called?
Amateur radio?
Amateur radio.
Is that
He
a
does
thing?
an English.
Just look at the back of the board. You see Hammy. He's our mascot. And
Amateur. I really like that. So yeah, my other hobbies are directly related to radio as well. So you could say I'm kind of a radio nerd.
so maybe you should get a show here.
Maybe I should get a show here. I'm also working with the folks over at WBCR in Great Barrington. We're relaunching the community radio station down there.
Oh,
and so
nice.
we're going to be on the air, I don't know, hopefully soon. The studio's getting wired up, the board's getting connected.
I know.
Awesome.
You want to get a radio show here? I know somebody in the back I can hook you up
No
with
way.
after the show's
No
over.
way.
Exactly.
All right.
I do actually.
Right.
I can hook you up with. I know somebody in the back, Matt.
Yes.
Right.
Who can
Cool.
give you the steps to get into this. This is really cool here.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it's
well,
very awesome.
You know,
It's like a
I'll
family
have,
here.
Nice. I mean, I will have a show or 2 or 3 on WBCR, and I'll be playing music and having guests and that kind of
Sort of like
thing.
what I do here.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you do here. So this is all right in my wheelhouse. But that's my, those are my hobbies. Otherwise, I'm a mom and I have a day job and all of that. So I'm pretty much chock-a-block busy, just like you. It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not wearing as many hats.
Oh, but see, that's just what I do for amateur radio. Let's not talk about what happens behind the scenes here at Pittsfield Community Television.
Right.
I'll be at the me and her will be at the football game at BCC on Thursday and Friday.
Cool.
Well, camera operator.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and I direct.
Nice.
And I also direct.
I'll be strapped to the scaffolding with a camera in my hand. Lord help me now.
I also direct the show for another one of the PCTV producers here once a month. So, yes, I spend a lot of time in this building.
Yeah, like I said, you're a good man to know.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Gotta love Dark.
Had to throw that in there. All right, let me give you
I wasn't sure where that came from.
You never
But,
know when I'm over here on the board.
That's right.
Oh yeah, it's
impressive.
So the propagation report real quick, because we kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
As expected, a high solar wind stream reached Earth on September 27th, which is why we really have no propagation, and you can actually hear it. You can actually hear it on HF. You can hear the solar winds hit the ionosphere on HF.
Yeah, because you were trying to do traffic with Marcia, I believe yesterday, and you could not hear. You could not hear.
Let
Jack
me tell you the
squat.
story.
You could not hear squat.
This is for you for
Yeah,
when
it's
you
really
get when you get an HF. We had, like I said, a solar storm, and what happens is it hits the ionosphere, so you can actually hear when the solar wind hits the ionosphere over your head, because I was trying to pass traffic with KW1U on First Region at on 3948 at 245. She went from 20 over, which is like sitting right here next to me.
Right.
And she's in Concord.
And she's in Concord, wow. Mass. And all of a sudden, just wave of about 50 over came over the top of the frequency. And it was nothing. And then when the wave passed, she went from 20 over to nothing over.
Wow.
That's what the solar wind does. That's what the storm does to the propagation.
And that's something that's happening right now. And how are you tracking that, Peter?
If you go to solarham.net, I think it is, they give you the whole propagation forecast. And they'll tell you, like we have no sunspots. And they'll tell you everything is on there. In fact, I got the link. It's, no, I don't. Yes, I do. It's
No, I don't. Yes, I do.
No, I don't. Yes, I do. Yeah, Solarham.net.
All right.
They give you the pictures from Soho of the sun where you see no sunspots. They'll give you what bands are in operation, what bands are not in operation. You get there's a whole page, like 4 or 5 tabs on just the solar storms and everything that's happening here.
This is great. I mean, there's listening to you talk about that. There's so many resources out there for hams.
Oh yeah, there's literally.
I mean, it's overwhelming, to be honest, and it's hard to know where to start.
Well, where you start is ARRL.org.
Of course,
the American Radio Relay League.
Right.
That's where you start. But as you get into this, depending upon where you want to go, you've got web pages that'll tell you how to do digital FT8 and PSK31 and all this other stuff. There's pages that will help you understand propagation.
Yeah.
Because they'll put it like solarham.net, just puts propagation right out there. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. And the National Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, updates it every 24 hours.
Wow.
And then they'll tell you when the solar storms are coming. And
they're an incredible resource.
There's also somebody, I forgot her name, but there's a space weather woman on YouTube who does a report every week.
Nice.
About the space weather. So you can go there. I don't have the link, but ARRL.org is a nice place to start. And I'm
going to be touring that facility actually later in October with the Rip Van Winkle Amateur Radio Society.
So
RV Wars.
Okay, so
we're all going to pack in a couple of cars.
So
and
wait
go
a
down
minute. Okay, so wait. Does that mean I get to book you?
I know.
Do I get to book you back on the show after you go?
I hope so. And then we can kind of, track this developing ham situation. Yeah, you should book me after I go.
When are you going?
I think the 21st. I think October 21st.
Okay, so
it's gonna be
I'm booked up through January. So.
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
No, because I have
fit me in somewhere.
In fact, next week, are you familiar with the show Haven? Remember that show?
No.
Is
Stephen King?
Hey, Haven was based. Okay, time for me to get in there because it's my office. Haven was based on a show. Haven is based on a book called The Colorado Kid, written by Stephen King.
I've never heard that one, and I'm a Stephen King fan.
Oh, sweet! Awesome.
Yeah, sweet. Right? Yeah. Here we go.
The Colorado
you and me,
Kid,
Jessica.
The Colorado Kid looks into a murder. Somebody had killed somebody in the town of Haven, Maine.
Oh, okay. Not Derry, Maine.
No,
his usual
setting is Derry.
Right,
yes. For anybody that reads Stephen King, the usual setting is Derry, Maine.
Yeah.
This one was based in Haven.
Right.
They're finding out who killed him and who killed this person, and the thing is that it is a secret society. That had killed him, and these people have problems wrong with them. They're called troubles. Some of them, they can kill telepathy, like Carrie, and telekinesis, like Carrie. Some of them can attract bullets.
Oh, wow.
Some of them
superpowers.
Exactly. Some of them they can regenerate their body. They
This
can't
is a
die.
whole
They
show
can't,
by itself.
I know,
Anyway,
seriously.
we got
I'm
it.
like, we could.
The synopsis
We could go on a
is-
tangent. Yeah.
we go on a tangent.
Yeah.
Can't
The reason
feel
why-
pain or anything
Right,
like
right.
that.
Okay.
The reason why I brought that up because
Yes. Why did you bring that up?
next week's show is kind of a double book. We're going to do a tribute to John Lennon because it's his birthday, October 9th, 1940. He would be 79.
And you're a fan.
Oh, obviously, he's wearing
Yeah.
the Beatles shirt.
That's a show in itself, by the way, too.
Okay.
Yes, a big fan. I usually
Can
do.
I book you on my show then?
I
Ooh,
usually
we
do.
can-
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I
we can
usually
talk
do
about, John Lennon,
I used to do a
Beatles.
tribute on YouTube on October 9th and December 8th and just go through the whole music thing. Yoko did say, and I'll bring this up next week, that it's better just to celebrate his life and not his death. And for those who don't know, John Lennon was murdered December 8th, 1980. One of the founding members of the Beatles. Anyway,
Yes, he was
we're
killed
going to
by
be
Mark
doing
David
that, so there's going to be a little difference in the openings of the show and that. We're going to run some Beatles music, but we're going to have Donald James, who is a professional voiceover actor. Who's also a ham radio operator.
Yes. No way.
November
Yeah,
2,
and
Victor Uniform.
Nice.
Will
And
be
to
sitting
you.
in your chair next week.
All right, Donald James will be
yeah,
right
he's,
here.
He's done
on
voiceovers
this
for
mic.
a lot of commercials and for Haven, and he's got a whole resume.
Yeah,
And he also did
mostly
the
does it for
opening.
Sci-Fi Network.
He also
anytime you hear something,
Right. He also did our
And
opening
that's not-
for Ham Cram 2018. So if you ever listened to any of the
I
Ham
love
Cram
the
stuff,
names here. That's
if you ever heard any of the Ham Cram stuff, he does.
I
he
haven't, but I'll
actually
look it
did
up.
the opening for Ham Cram 2018. Well, you
You
have to
can
send
find
them
it on
immediately. You have to
PCTV.
tell me because I have it like private. I put them away. They're
Oh,
still on
okay.
YouTube, but they're on private. But I'll share them with you.
okay. Cool.
And PCTV.
that makes me feel special.
PCTV was actually rebroadcasting Ham Cram
Yeah,
2018.
they were.
Oh, good.
So we will be back here momentarily as we're going to go to commercial break. Go. Hello, Jay.
welcome to Ham.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Today, cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. A chance of showers this morning, then showers likely this afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s. Temperature falling to around 60 this afternoon. Northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 60%. Tonight, mostly cloudy in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Much cooler. Less humid with lows around 40. North wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, becoming northeast after midnight. Thursday, mostly cloudy. Rain likely in the afternoon. Much cooler with highs in the lower 50s. East wind around 5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 60%. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
Support for WTBR comes from Fair, celebrating 25 years of Fair with an exciting masquerade gala with food, drinks, music, live auction, and raffles. October 25th at the Proprietors Lodge in Pittsfield. For more information, go to befair.org/25gala. And from Sandrini Enterprises, providing awnings and canopies in Western Mass for over 16 years. Retractable awnings, retractable screen, roof systems, commercial awnings, and screen rooms. Customized solutions available. www.sundrini.com. Support also comes from Canyon Ranch, encouraging innovation, integrity, empowerment, wellness, and excellence in the workplace. See all of Canyon Ranch's available job opportunities online at canyonranch.com/careers. And from Berkshire Community College, where you can have more opportunity and less debt. Classes start September 3rd. For more information, find them online at berkshirecc.edu.
This is the Goodwill Industries of the Berkshires and Southern Vermont. Our mission is to help our community members with barriers to employment, attain independence and self-sufficiency, gain confidence and enhance quality of life, all through vocational, educational work, training, and support services. You can contact Goodwill at 413-442-0061 or go to our website at www.goodwill-berkshires.com.
McGruff, the crime dog here with my nephew Scruff. Get a pencil and write down an important address. It's for the new McGruff comic activity book.
And it's full of me.
The address is...
Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Hey, Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Scruff McGruff,
tells you what to do about guns and about bullies and drugs and about strangers who want to give you a ride.
Scrub, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
And it's full of games and puzzles, too. So for your free copy of my new comic activity book, just write...
Scrub, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Not bad.
Can I do it again?
One more time.
Scrub, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
You'll be helping me take a bite out of crime.
A public service message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Crime Prevention Coalition, and the Ad Council.
WTBR. You and I have witnessed many things, but nothing as bodacious as what just happened.
And we're back, and you're listening to Ham On.
So bodacious.
You're listening to Ham On WTBR FM. In studio, having a great time here, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Is Suzy Colpits.
Apparently.
KC1ILW.
KC1 LIW.
LIW. We'll get it right.
That's me.
We'll get it right.
We'll get it right this time.
Sometime we'll get it right. So, do we have any?
He brain farts. He brain farts very badly.
Back to the
brain,
trivia
it
question. So back to the trivia question, and the trivia question was Bob Heil, K9EID. Well, you got to match him up with the correct answer. Did he invent the portable transistor radio? The first ham to operate from Mount Everest? Develop police speed detection radar? Pioneered live in-concert sound for various rock and roll groups. What was Bob Heil? Do you have any ideas?
My instinct would be either Everest or the speed control. So those are my two choices, but I'm going to say Everest.
Wrong.
I'm going to go either speed control
Wrong.
or the concert. You didn't let me finish.
You got to let her finish.
I was going to go with the concert mics.
Okay, get half a point. Bob Heil is responsible for taking the world of live rock and roll from a fairly puny sound from the band's amps to the booming wall-to-wall of volume we enjoy today during concerts.
Awesome.
He worked with The Who, The Grateful Dead,
I was about to
Jeff
say The
Beck,
Who.
Joe Walsh, who is an amateur radio operator.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
You really don't know any of this stuff. Joe Walsh.
I'm telling you. I mean, this is a very
I don't have his call sign, but it's
new world to me.
WA6 something. Joe Walsh is an amateur radio operator.
Yes.
Tim
yes,
Allen. He got his license.
Wow.
The new kid that plays Boyd on
Last Man
Standing.
Okay. I don't watch TV.
He's Ronnie Millsap.
Ronnie Millsap, sure. That's
Art Bell,
a name.
the late great Art Bell. K6OBB.
I didn't know that about Art Bell. I've been listening to Art Bell. Actually, my friend.
Okay, wait.
The friend who introduced me to ham radio. We used to hang out, listen to Art Bell.
Did you listen?
Oh, nice.
Have you listened to Coast AM?
Not recently, but I had a subscription up until a couple of years ago. So I've listened to the George Norrie era.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you should have.
Don't should me, Peter. Everyone has their own path.
But you should have known what this was when you heard this, our opening. So we'll do this real quick.
All right.
The music.
Yeah. Nice.
That's Chase. That's the opening for Coast to Coast AM.
Nice.
Yes.
This is what.
For those that don't know, yes, we use the Coast to Coast.
This is what. Yeah. For those who don't know, we use Chase by Giorgio Moroder, the Coast to Coast AM theme.
Nice.
For those who don't know, but this is how Art Bell.
Now they do.
This is how Art Bell started. He's an amateur radio operator. Used to live up in Pahrump, Nevada, and he's the one that started Coast to Coast.
Yes, he did.
AM. And then as he got older and moved on and did other things, he got George Norrie to take it over. But in the last few years, he was actually doing Coast to Coast AM before he retired from his house.
Yeah.
And this is how he started.
Had a huge antenna farm in Pahrump.
Huge antenna farm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Someday.
Someday. If you ever get the acreage.
I need the acreage. Currently, I'm renting. There's a little bit of negotiation happening as far as the antenna situation is concerned.
We have the same situation. We can't have any.
Right.
But there's remotes you can get on.
Sure. See, this is why we're talking.
You know about go remoteham.com.
Remoteham.com.
There's a series of remotes. You've got to send a copy of your license into them.
Yeah.
And I get on the K2HMI in New Jersey for FRN, and then I go to a remote in Michigan
Oh, nice.
for the main potato net. But if you get there, you can go through remote. You don't have to put antennas up.
Right.
You can control.
Ideally,
you can
ideally,
control
I'd
the
rather,
radio.
Yeah.
Well, ideally, yeah.
Ideally.
But this way you can control the radio. You still control the radio.
But it's through the internet, correct?
So is Echolink. So is DMR.
Right. Right.
A
Ideally.
DMR is another way you can go.
I wouldn't.
DMR is another way you can go.
Yeah.
You can talk to the world on a handheld radio on a hotspot.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I don't have to worry about propagation.
Right.
Some will say.
But I mean, that's really, really what I want to learn about is the.
What is that from Battlestar Galactica? Some will say.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't get that reference.
The old 1977 Battlestar Galactica.
I was 3 in 1977. I wasn't allowed to watch TV growing up, so I missed a lot.
I was 10.
Of
I was 10. Star Wars
references.
came out in 77. I was 10 when Star Wars came out.
Nice. That was a perfect age.
All right, we got 5 minutes here. Let me real quick. For those who want to
Star Wars nerd, that's perfect.
For those who want to catch us, we'll be rebroadcast Thursday at 8 p.m., Friday at 10:30 a.m., and Sundays at 3 a.m. on Pittsfield Community Television.
Oh, yeah.
Sundays at 3
Channel
a.m.
1301.
Oh, yeah, hot time slot. Yeah.
Suzy, you had a good time. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. I'd love to follow up, and definitely I think you should come on my show.
Oh, yeah.
And we could
Long as it ain't
talk
on
different
Wednesday
angles
morning.
of this. It's no.
Long as it's on Wednesday
I haven't
morning,
figured out the
because-
time slot yet, but
Well, let me know. You know how to
okay.
get a hold of me, and
Yeah.
we'll book you in for January, bring
Cool.
you back on.
Cool.
After the new year.
And I'll have a report on my progress.
Yes,
A progress
October
report.
30th, we'll have in this studio, will be the Halloween show, a paranormal investigator.
Nice. So
Yes,
cool.
Yes.
Because some of the tools they use, you guys use.
Yep, and coming up, we have
Which is pretty awesome.
we'll have the
It's pretty
section
awesome.
manager for Massachusetts coming in, KB1LRL. We'll have the section manager for Eastern New York, K2QY, John Fritzy.
I've met him.
We'll have KT2D Bob coming in. We have a whole bunch of nice shows coming in.
yeah.
Next week, we'll have Donald James here, N2VU, who does a lot of voiceovers and for Haven and commercials and stuff. And we'll be doing a little tribute to John Lennon as we go by.
will.
So, Suzy, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
it was
thanks
a fun,
for having me.
quick
Thank you, Jessica.
quick hour here. I should get you on here every
I know,
Wednesday.
it was super quick.
We should get you in here every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. I don't know if I
Wednesday.
can battle the traffic, but
But thanks for being here.
Yeah.
You're
you
listening to Ham on WTBR FM with the last 3 minutes. Any parting words?
Any parting words? I knew you would ask me something like that. Of course. No, I mean, I don't have any parting words really today. Thank you so much.
Let's do this. So my general question is
Sure.
for the new hams, or
Yes.
for the hams sitting on the fence, watching or listening to the show, or watching this show, and saying, what is this all about? Should I get into this? Is it worth it?
Absolutely.
Sell it.
Absolutely. Getting into this is absolutely worth it. I think it's a fascinating field, and there's a lot to it. And there's a lot of potential out there to have fun and to serve your community. Definitely. How's that? How'd I do, Peter?
That was good. You read your script well.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
I mean, I'm so excited about it, and this is going to be something that's going to take my attention.
That's a good thing about a hobby. You get excited in it, and
yeah, this is something that's going to take my attention for the rest of my days, I feel. So I'm really just starting out on this path, and there's so much support out there. And so many different things you can do, and
There's
so
a
many
lot of
interesting.
hams
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, there really are.
And for further information on how to get started, arrl.org.
Yep.
Yes. Thanks for being here. Thanks, everybody. This is Ham on
Thank you.
WTBR
Yay.
FM.
Okay.